as he's holding me, it's like I instantly, like in a snap of a finger, it's like play by play, like how a movie goes to a different scene. It's like, boom, I was on the other side. I was on the other side, right? So, but I could still see my body fully.
Hi, I'm Danny Santos, and this is the Astro Daddy Podcast, where we cover topics such as spirituality, sexuality, queer culture, plant medicine, shamanism, near-death experiences, and of course, astrology. Who's your daddy?
All right, it is Monday, June 15th, 2026, and this is Danny Santos with Josias Adriel. Hello, my friend.
Hi, Danny. Great to
It
be here. Thanks for having me on.
Oh my God, it is such a pleasure and an honor to have you on here, Josias. I am a huge fan of your near-death experience. I'm a huge fan of you as a person. You had me on your podcast, Vulnerability Time. So I can't thank you enough for being willing to come here onto the Astro Daddy podcast and for us to discuss your NDE, spirituality in general, questions about queerness and relationship to God and all of that. And your story is one of the most profound NDEs I've ever heard. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself and then also go straight into the NDE.
I shall do that. Okay, so my name is Josias Adriel. I'm a PhD student currently and the host of the Vulnerability Time podcast. And that's available on all podcast platforms, folks. If you want to check that out, go for it. Let's see. I love poetry. I love writing. I love podcasting, and I love sharing my NDE. Because once upon a time, I was a little scared to share it. So great to be here. So I'll take a couple of minutes, 2 or 3, at most 5 minutes, to talk about my past, just because it's so important as it's tied to my NDE, because it shows you how personal things were in the NDE. So my past, I was definitely, I always felt like an outcast, right? I never, ever, ever fit in. Until this day, I still don't fit in, but now I love it. But back then, I just always felt like I never fit in, right? And I was always abused. I didn't come from a loving household. My father was one of my abusers, and other men were. It was other just men who abused me, and so I felt like my body was never my own. I always felt broken, always felt like a burden. I was told horrible things in my past, like, oh, like by my own brother, my mom, like he said my mom should have aborted me, right? And so the reason why I mentioned these horrible, horrible things is because, it led me to, one, the NDE, and it's going to make the NDE even more powerful for me. So I started, self-harming, and then I had a completion. At 15, I took a bottle of pills. Oh, and something I need to mention is my father was a pastor. So I grew up in a very, very, very religious home, very strict religious home, right? And I'm gay. Someone can't notice. I'm not fluid. I wish I could choose. Trust me, I wish. But I am gay, and that was not applauded in that household, and neither at school, right? So I was I was experiencing so much bullying. My body was never my own. People just beat on me, right? So and so at 15, I started feeling like, why am I here? No one wants me here. And if there is a God, and if hell is real, well, I was just doomed from the start, wasn't I? Oh, because I was taught because I'm gay, I'm going to hell. And I was atheist at this time, right? I didn't believe in anything because I didn't find any reason to believe with the life that I had as a child. I was like, why? What? No, because if that's God, I don't want that. If that hate is God, that abuse is God, then I don't want that. And so but I felt like being dead was being better than being myself at that time. That's yeah. And so at 15, I started, and then I decided to. I grabbed a bottle of painkillers, and it was it was the rest of the bottle. It was a lie. I don't know how much was in there, but I took them to kill myself and leave this earth, right? And I started noticing almost immediately. I've always been very sensitive to medications. That's why, like, when I take, like, for example, when I take medicine now, for like anxiety or depression, we start off at a small dosage. So I've always been sensitive to medicines. So with this painkiller, and I know now, years later, after like looking into why did my kidneys hurt after I took those painkillers. So painkillers, they hurt the kidneys if you take too much, right? And so I noticed it almost instantly, that my kidneys were hurting. And I didn't know that they were kidneys. I just knew that that area down there was hurting. Um, and it was just so painful that and I just said, Jesus. Now, I didn't, believe in Jesus. I just said it in vain. Like, I could have said, oh my God, or what the, like, it was just something I said in vain because I was in so much pain. Right. And so immediately, and I was crying while saying this, right? Because I was not just in physical pain, I was just in emotional pain, that it had to come to this, right? And so as soon as I said that, I left my body, and I could see my body. But I didn't just leave my body. There were these hands, there was this figure holding me. And when I tell you the amount of love and peace, I cannot explain it. I don't have human words to explain it. And I stopped caring about having the words to explain it because I used to get so frustrated about not explaining something correctly. The amount of love, and imagine going from all that trauma, all that hate, to that amount of love. I can't. I mean, like, I've after, like, in my current life, I know what love is, and that doesn't even compare to the love that's on the other side, and the love that Jesus, this being who is supposed to hate me, right? This being that's supposed to send me to hell, wraps his arms around someone like me, and he's a male. So you know, the only times I've had men put their hands on me was to do some harm to me. So it's like I just melted. So overwhelming, the amount of peace, wholeness, fulfillment, love. And it felt like home. And it felt like I met him before. It's like I recognize this entity because he didn't just say his name was Jesus. I knew he was Jesus first before he even told me. So I'm like, okay, I've met this being before. And so as he's holding me, it's like I instantly, like in a snap of a finger, it's like play by play, like how a movie goes to a different scene. It's like, boom, I was on the other side. I was on the other side, right? So, but I could still see my body fully. And this is where I knew, hey, okay, the soul can break off into fragments and be at multiple places at once. And I thought I was crazy. I was like, maybe I just no, like, what? But then I heard other people's NDE stories, and they say the same thing, that the soul can be in multiple places at once, live multiple lives at once. I was like, that makes sense. But while I was on the other side, that wasn't necessarily my main focus. My main focus, I was just in shock of the amount of love that I was experiencing. And so I go to this white room, and the closest color of white that I can say was this kind of like LED white that we have here on Earth, but it wasn't that color. I don't think it was on the spectrum of white, but I don't think we have that color of white on this earth. So I get taken to that room, and that's the place where I could still see my body fully from my peripheral, but still see it fully. It's so weird. It's like I was still in some type of form, but I wasn't in like full human. It was weird. It was like everything was just expanded. Every sense was expanded, and there was more senses that I didn't have as a human. Beautiful, beautiful. And I'll stop trying to explain it because I don't know how to fully explain it still. So it's this beautiful white room, and it was so loving, so warm, and I'm assuming now that was source God, right? But Jesus was still with me though. And there's a reason why. And towards the end, well, towards after each scene, I'll explain to you like why that was significant. So I didn't know the significance then, like after coming back to my body. But now I look at it and I'm like, I started to hate God throughout my life because I went back to church after. And the reprogramming started, and I was strategically meant to go back to church. I didn't know that then, but I was strategically meant to go back to church, to unlearn the programming, to experience things that beauty wouldn't have taught me. So remembering, and it was just like this freaking epiphany, remembering that I met Jesus and I was in the same room of God, the source. It just felt like it was everywhere, and it felt like I was everywhere and everything. It's like I was one, it's like I was one with everything. And God, the source, was not this big man on the throne. And I think that's the most important part from that, because I was taught God was this big male on the throne. No, I felt so much divine feminine energy as well. It's like it was complete. It's like it was whole. It's like it was both, right? It was both, but it was not in the toxic way that we experience it on earth when we talk about masculine or femininity. It was just so much more advanced, and it was so beautiful. But then right after that, I get taken to this field, and that was so beautiful. This field, this is where I saw there. This is where I really started to like see there are so many colors that we don't have on earth, or that we can't see on this earth. But I have not seen none of those colors on earth. Of course, there were some reds and greens. Of course, it was a beautiful green field, grass. It was so beautiful. The plants were like kind of swaying, but guess what? The plants knew I was there. And it's like I felt that they loved me as well. And till this day, I no longer see plants as these just inanimate objects. I see them as also living beings. Like, I know people may disagree with what I'm about to say, but I view plants as just equally as important as humans. So I treat them as such because they loved me, someone like me, coming from all that hate. I'm telling you, y'all, I'm about to cry. I did not know love as a child. I'm not exaggerating. It was constant hate after hate. And I didn't realize that it was hate until I came back from the other side. That I knew it was hate because I learned what love was. Right. So it's just like, I didn't know I was in hate. I thought I was normal until I hit my breaking point at 15. Right. And so these plants were so beautiful. Some of them I could recognize them. Some of them I'm like, I don't think I've seen that on earth, but I haven't seen all the plants on earth, folks. So I want to say there's plants there. I want to say there's plants there that we've not seen on earth, or maybe have been extinct on earth, but I don't recognize all of those plants. I recognize the roses, so beautiful, and the colors are so vibrant. But the best that I can say in regards to color, folks, of the colors that we haven't seen, it's light or dark. They were either a lighter color or darker color. I can't say, oh, it was a kind of blue. No, there's no spectrum to compare it to, but it was just so beautiful, and it was so personal to have this field and these plants loving me, and it felt like I have been there before. So I'm just like, okay, like it's like I recognize this whole place. Like, yes, I know this place. This place is not some random, and then after that, I get taken to what you call, it was kind of like I was in space, right? And I want to say it was actual space, um, but I don't know. It looked like space. It was like this void, and it was many stars and stuff like that. And you could see planets as well. I don't know what those planets were, but I knew I was in space. And the thing about it is, the reason why I was taken to that, this is where it becomes even more personal, is because as a kid, I was always just so amazed by space and planets and aliens. I thought that was so cool. So to come from all that trauma to the other side, and Jesus is still with me. He's not hugging me anymore, but he's still like right behind me, as if he's like guiding me through this, right? And making sure that everything is tailored to me. And that is so loving, to be so tailored and specific to me. And folks, like, I'm telling you, like, I needed that. I needed all these little moments. Like, you paid so much attention to me. You know me so well that you are willing to strategically give me an NDE and show me space. That little detail meant the world to me, because I loved space, right? Like, I loved space. So you show me that, right? Oh, I don't have a napkin. I put it away. Darn it. I need a napkin. Um, and so to me, not only did I feel extreme love, not only was I loved and being loved, right? I was seeing the action of love. That's not something I knew on this earth incarnate at first, right? Um, and in the middle, right in the middle, I see this orb, and I knew it was me. And there was these entities by me. There were these figures, and these colors I do know. They were like some red, greens, and blues, right? And they were by me, and it was like this planning phase of coming to Earth, right? And I said no at first. I heard myself say no, and you know, I never understood why. It's like, on the other side, we know everything, but in my NDE, while I was on the other side, they strategically made sure it's like I was purposely being limited on the knowledge, and that was because it was going to be revealed later on in my life when I needed it most. Because my NDE saved my life two times, two times. Because after being home, by home I mean the other side, I did not want to stay on Earth. Okay. 2024 was my last and final attempt to leave this Earth. February 2024, which February 23rd, 2013 is the day that I left my body. So that's the day where all this is happening. And so I didn't understand why that was important, but I saw me say no. I didn't see me say yes. I clearly said yes because I'm here. I clearly, things changed, but I was planning things, right? And I said no at first. And I always wondered why. And I'll tell you at the end why that was important. Because that revelation just came to me 2 years ago. We're in 2026 right now, recording this, folks. That revelation came to me 2 years ago. So when I was 26, this happened at 15. I'm still learning for my NDE, right? And mind you, though I was in this void, this space, it was so beautiful, I was still so loved, folks. So that just showed me, just because something's dark doesn't mean it's bad, right? And then, this is just like a scene, like I was taken through scene, right? Just like a movie when it cuts to a different scene. This second to last scene, well, this was the final scene in the NDE, is what I'm about to say next. There was this blue entity. I just get taken to this blue entity, right? And it was just staring at me. It was tall and it was staring at me. And it was like the longest deja vu I've ever had. I was just looking at it. I don't know who that was till this day, but it's like it's like I recognized it, and it recognized me, but I didn't know who it was. And I know a lot of people, when they go to the other side, they say they see these beings, or they see past loved ones that they've never met in this incarnate, but somehow they just knew them. That was me. Like, I recognized, but I don't know who that, I still to this day don't know who that entity was. But that thing just poured, and it just looked at me with such acceptance, such love. I want to say maybe it was a family member on another lifetime, because clearly I'm not from Earth. I said no to volunteer here. I said no at first. I said no. So, but that entity, the way it looked at me was so pleasant. It was just so pleasant. And until that moment in my life, I've never had anyone look at me like that, with that amount of love. I didn't know what that was like. And that entity was clearly not a human, and its eyes definitely weren't human. I can't describe it. I can talk to someone who's drawing, and maybe they can describe it, but I've seen photos that looks very similar to it. I don't know if folks know what Octurians are, but if you Google what an Octurian looks like, that entity looked very similar. Very, very. I'm not saying that I was an Octurian. I'm not saying that entity was an Octurian. I'm just saying it looked like that. It looked very similar, like it could as well have been. But I remember when I first saw that photo of an Octurian, my mouth dropped and I just froze. It's like the world stopped, because I was like, what? I I've searched this earth for glimpses or colors of my NDE so that I can better explain it and so that I can better grasp it. But yeah, but anyways, so this entity, it's tall, it's taller than me. I would say it was like about 7-ish feet. I'd say about 7 feet. It was very thin, well, thinner a little bit, but it was longer, so it didn't seem like it was like so out of place. And it was just very beautiful, and it was just beaming with this type of blue light. And there were some blues beaming out of it that I've never seen on this earth, but there were some blues that I could just tell it was blue. It was on the blue spectrum, right? Um, and this entity, while it was looking at me, it just poured just all this knowledge into me. Um, and some of the knowledge was like, oh, I signed a soul contract, right? Things are planned, right? We can live in multiple places at once. The multiverse is literally real. The multiverse is literally real. And I was like, yeah, I was just like, what? Like, I was like, it's like I became a kid, and I was just so curious for this knowledge that I've never heard. Um and it also confirmed about like what do you call that? How time works here is not how time actually is, right? Like, and it also told me that like we've lived many lifetimes and things of that nature. Um, and then like right after that, Jesus is hugging me back into my body, and I'm telling you, it just flipped like a switch. It's like back to my body, right? Um, and he's hugging me, and I feel this in my physical body, right? I can feel it in my physical body while also looking at my body and being able to see my tears leave my eyes. I'm not joking, folks. I literally saw my tears leave my face, right? And Jesus was telling me, you are loved. Hell's not real. He didn't open his mouth. It was telepathic. And that's how we talk on the other side. We can use verbal, but we don't have to. It can be telepathic. Like nothing opened its mouth. Nothing opened its mouth. Not even me. Everything was just telepathic. And folks, when I tell you, this is some things that I learned from my NDE, is that just because we don't believe something doesn't mean it's not true. Just because we weren't taught it doesn't mean it's not true. A lot of things in those movies, we get those from somewhere. A lot of passions that we have, oh, that starts from somewhere. That comes from somewhere now. That's just not out of the blue. It may come, we may recognize it out of the blue, but it doesn't come out of the blue. So yeah, so the multiverse, that's not just in movies, folks. Like we get it from somewhere, probably because we are higher, we are unconsciously conscious sometimes. So it's like maybe our higher self knows about the multiverse. So this human incarnate is gonna produce a movie about it, gonna write a comic about it. And I want to say this last thing. The Jesus that I met was not the Jesus that was taught about in church. This entity was an ascended master. Oh, that's also another thing that that blue being taught me, was that Jesus is an ascended master. He may be a very popular one, and that humans, we over the years, we did get a lot wrong, right? Jesus was so loving, such a yogi. Like, he wasn't this religious figure. I just was so, I felt so seen by him, just so whole by him. It's like he saw me deeper than I saw myself and said, I accept and love all of you, and you're not going to hell. Hell's not real. Now, we are not taught that. Now, if we do research on where hell actually came from, we'll see that that was never in the original Bible. We will see that it is not real. We'll see that hell was actually just a place people went and sacrificed children to their God, and it was spelled with one L, and it wasn't even pronounced hell; it was pronounced eel. But we'll see that, you know, over time, certain prominent figures put that in religious texts, and it's a great control mechanism. And so, till this day, you know, I will tell people this: till this day, if I didn't experience all of this, I wouldn't even believe it. So I don't blame people for not believing it, especially when every all this time that you were taught hell is real, and for someone to come on, some random person to come on and tell you, guess what? I experienced the exact opposite. Hey, Jesus told me, and I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. That was all personal to me. All of the whole thing was just personal, and so I don't blame people for not believing um my story or believing that hell isn't real. I mean, when you get to the other side, you'll see how strategic things were, and our thoughts are so powerful. So some of us, we may experience a hell like state, but that won't last long at all. um that's just our thoughts being very powerful, right? And some people, they experience quote unquote hell. That's because they were scared into the right direction. Everything is very strategic, folks. It's very strategic. So,
By source, you mean?
say that again.
Source is
Yes,
strategic with us. It's going to show us
source
how.
is so strategic, but it's not just our source, it's also our soul contract. So some people chose, okay, to have an NDE and show him. They said, if I need that little push, let's put a quote unquote hell experience in there. Yeah, it's all strategic. That's what I'm saying. Like, so you can be atheist, you can be Buddhist, you can be Christian, you can be Catholic, you can be agnostic, you can be so fucking gay, you can be so this way, so that way. You are loved regardless. You can even be a Satanist. No one goes to hell. You're going to get on the other side. Now, you don't just necessarily get away with everything. You're going to get a life review. You're going to get a life review. And you're going to be able to feel not only how you made others feel, but how others made you feel so much deeper, right? So, and that can include some what we define as good times and what we define as bad times. So, my father, you know, him telling his congregation at church, you know, about a lot of things and judging them, if that, he's gonna, in his life review, he's gonna feel what they felt so that he can understand. There is no judgment on the other side. The only judging that there is you judging, you looking at that life review. That's also something that blue entity told me, was the life review phase. Yeah. So because I didn't get to experience a life review, you know, I didn't see a life review. The only thing that I saw that's closer to a life review is that, um, you know, during that phase when I said no to Earth, that wasn't to this incarnate. That was just to coming to Earth in general, because this is my second time on this Earth. I saw that a glimpse that I was this Caucasian lady in a past life. I believe I died in the 80s. Um, she was wearing 80s clothing. I don't know if that means she died in the 80s or lived in the 80s and maybe died in the 90s. I don't know. But to me, that I mean, that made sense why I was always just a huge feminist, right? Like, even as a kid. But Yeah, I mean, but that's the most, but it wasn't a life review. It was just showing me you said no to coming to Earth, um, just as a whole. And can you blame me? I mean, can you blame me? And the reason why that was important is because after I tried to leave, I took even more pills in February 2024. I took even more pills. I took, I forgot the number, but it was over 28. I think it was in the 30s. But and I was on the phone with someone. I said, "Watch, they're not going to let me leave. Watch, I'm going to walk into that hospital and they're going to say it doesn't look like you took any pills." And I told them I was, and by they, I mean my higher self, the spirit team, Jesus, all of that. Like, I was like, they're not going to let me leave. I just know it. Just like last time, they're not going to let me leave. That's exactly what happened. That doctor was like, "Are you sure? It doesn't look like you took any pills. You just have minor inflation, like you ate spicy food."
Uh,
Yeah. And I was like, I knew it. And I was told the person on the phone, because that person, he didn't believe me about any of this. He believed me then. He believed me then. I was just like, they're not going to let me. They're not going to let me. But, however, like I told you, and I'm almost finished. I never thought that, I never knew at that moment why it was so important to show me I chose to come to Earth, but I said no at first. Right? Like, I volunteered to come here to help, but I said no to everything at first, to this whole Earth experience. I mean, it's Earth. Come on. I mean, it's not a shock why many entities will never incarnate here. Or it's because after I tried to leave Earth and go home in February 2024, it showed me it was so edifying, and it gave me confidence to be grounded and centered here, because it was like, you are meant to be here. It's not a mistake that you're here. Because I just thought, did I make the wrong decision? I must be. Look at what I'm going through. Look at what's happening on Earth. Like, this disgusts me. I don't want to be here. This Earth doesn't want me. This Earth may need love, but I was just like, I don't think this Earth wants love. I just don't. So I want to leave. I want to go home. I'm wasting my time here. That that scene saved my life, because if I would have kept trying to leave this Earth, I would have kept trying to leave. I don't like to stay in situations that are toxic. I'm not one to do that anymore. And so, even in hard times, in times that would have had me leave Earth, I'm still staying and I'm still grounded. And I know now that I'm meant to be here, all because of that scene. That scene. Of me volunteering to come here and saying no at first. It not only did it validate how hard Earth was going to be for me, but it also showed me, like, out of all that, you still came here and still are here. So it's for a reason. And now I see that reason. I see the reason now. I didn't see it then, but now I see the reason. And I'm so glad that I got to live long enough to see the reason. I'm so glad they didn't let me leave, because I was about to say, if I left February 2024, I would have a bad taste in my mouth about Earth. I would be telling all the other entities, don't come there. It's ghetto. Don't do it. But um now I'm like, I may still be honest about, I'm gonna still be honest about Earth, but I'm gonna say, you know what? Um, also experienced a lot of good. Thank you.
oh
So
my gosh, Josias. I have heard your NDE story on other channels, but this is the first time that I'm getting to hear the whole thing from beginning to end.
yay.
So, first of all, I just want to say thank you for sharing your story. And from my heart to yours, I'm so glad that you're here to tell this story. You know, to me, this is one of the most important interviews that I get the opportunity to do. So, I'm sorry to hear about your past, about some of the things that you've had to endure. And just knowing you, we've had conversations about Jesus before.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to start by asking you, maybe you can share a little bit more about what was it like to meet Jesus? What is his personality like? How do people get a misconception about him and his teaching?
Oh,
You know?
yeah. Well, the misconceptions part, folks, this is what I would suggest, because I'll say this: I believed everything about my NDE. I mean, I experienced it. It was just as real as I'm talking to you. What color shirt are you wearing, Danny?
I am wearing like a light blue shirt.
Okay, because with these glasses, they make every color look different.
He's got these
So,
amazing red glasses on for people who aren't
uh,
watching the video. Yeah, period. Eh.
yes, I have red glasses on. So Danny is wearing a light blue shirt. Religious programming, because it was not only was I told I was going to hell, I was literally, so it was in my nervous system.
Mm,
My father and my brother, and yes, people at school, but my father and brother beat me the most. Literally beat me while saying that I'm going to hell. So my nervous system took that in.
yeah.
It took in that trauma with words attached to it. And so Danny's shirt is clearly light blue. The programming was so strong that even after this interview, I would say, if someone could tell me Danny's shirt is actually red, I would struggle to believe that it's light blue. So I'm using this as symbolic to show you Jesus himself told me this. I'm looking at him, experience him as real as I'm on this podcast. However, when I came back to earth and I went back to church, um, because I'm like, well, Jesus is real, then this other stuff must be real too. And I just had some conflicting, and I had to go through that programming and release that programming. And I learned and gained so much strength from release that, if Jesus just took it away, I wouldn't have gained or learned that stuff. So I needed to learn to release programming. I needed to go through that to unprogram myself. That was a journey. I gained a lot of great tools. But anyways, so I was like, I believed everything that Jesus told me. I believed everything about my NDE. I didn't question anything but the hell part. So myself, I had to do research on the history of the Bible. I was like, because something's not right. Like, this Jesus that I'm being taught about in church is not the Jesus that I met. So what was it? So I did research on the history of the Bible, and I saw this may, make some folks feel uncomfortable, and that's okay. It's not necessarily your fault that you were taught certain things, right? Um, the Old Testament was never in the original Bible.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Homosexuality was not even a word back then. That word is a German word. It was in the late 18th century, and it didn't even mean same sex. It meant the sexuality of human.
Oh, like a Homo sapien,
Yeah,
Homo.
like almost say, bruh. Like I was literally about to say that. Yes, yes, yes. Like, so it was the study of human sexuality. So we are our current humanness are we're called Homo sapiens. That was the word homosexual.
Right.
This is research, folks. I'm not just pulling this out of my right. This is research, right? I had to do research to just I had to see. I was like, Jesus, they're telling me one thing, but you showed me another. And what? So I did research, and now I'm like, okay, that's the Jesus that I met. Yeah,
Okay.
that one's
So,
right. So
so
many, yeah, go for it.
could you say that Jesus loves the gays?
Oh, 1000%. Jesus loves the gay. Jesus loves the gays. Jesus loves everyone. You can literally and that's just that. But this is the thing, folks. When you're on the other side, it's not hard to love anybody. There's none of these human biases or these limitations or our upbringing or our programming stopping us or making it hard for us to love people. Like, the love is so easy. Love is so easy. So it's like you see love, you don't see this human thing only. You see what we truly are when we leave this body. You see that energy, right? And but yes, long story short, Jesus loves the gays. Jesus, guess what? Jesus loves the haters. Jesus loves the trans. Jesus loves the Satanists. But guess what? Everyone on the other side loves them as well. All the other extended masters. There is nothing but love on the other side, folks. Our true home is love, right? Like that's our true home is love. And, we may be a little shocked when we do our life review and be like, wow, I hated this person. Wow. Like, I mean, like, we will experience, we may experience a little bit of shock because love is that's where we come from. Everyone comes from God, the source. And I say God, the source, because I have to say it with the word source, because if I just say God, it's just, I know because of our upbringing, especially at least in this country, we'll think, oh, this will automatically, our first thought is this man on the chair with a long white beard who's going to judge and send people to hell. God does not judge. Jesus does not judge. Mm-mm. Now, humankind may judge. But when you get on the other side, there's no judgment. You judge you, and it's not in a negative way like how we think judgment is. It's literally a learning thing. It's a learning thing. What did you do right here? What is something you wanted to do better? Oh, did you want to reincarnate to do better? Sure. Did you want to reincarnate to be a celebrity and just live a easy life? Go for it. You have free will. Jesus
Okay.
loves the gays. Jesus loves everything.
Jesus loves the gays. So I'm taken back to last weekend,
Mm,
not this past weekend, but 2 weeks
okay.
ago. I think it was like June
Mm.
7th. It's Pride Month. And
Okay, right.
they have the big Pride Festival here in West Hollywood, which is the gay district in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And I'm walking up the street getting ready to go into Pride, and there's
Oh
a
no.
man with a megaphone,
Oh
and he's
God.
holding a sign that
Of
says,
course.
Jesus, like
Hates
repent
that.
now, gay is sin. And
Hmm.
he's filming me on his camera while speaking into the megaphone because I'm saying to him, I love you. I love you.
Danny.
And Jesus loves you. And he says, I love you too, but are you willing to admit that you're a sinner? And he's like really yelling and then
That's not
saying like
love.
homosexuality is wrong. You're going to burn in hell for that.
Mm.
He also started talking about abortion. He's like, all of these lives that are being murdered.
Hmm.
You think God is going to send any of us? You should be spending your free time like doing what I'm doing. And I would not let up. I just kept saying, I love you. I love
Bless
you.
you.
And
Bless
I
your
was
heart.
doing my best to just like, I was like, look, we can have differences, but I care about you. And I hope that you have love in your life. And like, it was a very interesting metaphor because here I am, like, not arguing, but trying to endure somebody else's shortcoming when the entrance
Mm.
to pride was right there.
Mm.
So at a certain point, I said, you can't change what other people are perceiving, feeling, or going through. So I eventually just like said, okay, well, good luck. I guess this man is going to take my recording and post it somewhere of me telling him that I love him and him yelling at me that
Yeah.
I'm burning in hell. And then I went to Pride and had like the best day ever.
Right.
So it's just kind of like a metaphor for anybody who's trying to come out
Hmm.
or like struggling with their sexuality. You're going to have that wall. But if you just allow yourself to move past that wall, you're not going to defeat it.
Hmm.
If you're going to be gay, you might have to coexist with that.
Hmm.
In fact, even in the Pride Festival, there's people with megaphones saying, gay is sin, it's demonic. We've seen demons come out of people and people stop being gay. And,
Okay, they're
you
just
know,
lying to
well,
themselves.
I work as an exorcist, okay? I have that training, and I was initiated through the Shipibo tribe in Peru,
Hmm.
which is a shamanic tradition that serves
Hmm.
ayahuasca. I've learned how to do exorcisms. As far as I understand, there's no gay demon.
Exactly. Hey, and if someone's gay or fluid or whatever they identify, if they have attractions towards anyone, right? That's strategic to the soul contract. You chose that. You chose
Yeah.
the attraction like that. That's not random, and it's not for no reason. So I know a lot of people though when they get their life review, they're going to reincarnate back as just an extreme flamboyant gay because they see that in their previous life that they lived with too much fear, and so they hid who they were, or their environment, it they're they're going to live their truth, whether it's in this life or the next, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So yes.
I'm also thinking like being gay is not demonic,
Not at all. It's
but there are demons that are gay,
right. Like,
you
but that's
know?
the thing. That's the thing. There's actually early humanity, in the research in the history they don't teach us, there was not even any labels. Everyone just was. It's like, for example, a quote unquote same sex couple. That was, no one batted an eye at that. That was how normal it is. I think if we take a time machine, I'm not talking, go back 2 centuries ago, go back, early colonialism. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about way back then. It you're gonna see, like, they're gonna actually look at us and be like, you're fighting over what's normal? Okay. Like, why is this even a conversation? This is the norm. No one batted an eye. You could be holding hands. You can be like, it didn't matter. It literally didn't matter. That is such a modern age, thing.
Well, it's easier
Um,
to divide and conquer.
it's easier to divide and conquer. Yes, a lot of systems are made to oppress, and division is a great way to continue
Yep.
suppressing, because
And
folks
patriarchy.
cannot, oh yeah, patriarchy loves it. And capitalism. I'm a sociologist, folks. When I tell you the systems made to impress, and division is key to continuing oppression. They have you pit against your neighbor, because if you and your neighbor stand together and unite, you are stronger, and you are stronger than them. But we don't see that right now, because we're divided.
Sure.
um
Well, and we're in
but
the age of Aquarius.
that's true. Hey, that person that you just kept saying you love you to, you know what, let's say that changed his life 20 years from now. Or let's say that that video went viral and you changed someone else's life. You're going to see that in your life review, that you impacted someone's life so much so that you didn't even know it. You're
Whoa.
going to see, it's those moments, it's those unaware moments, and some moments that we are aware of, but the moments that we don't understand the most are the ones that we're going to see, heavily in that life review, all to just get us, understanding and learning, right? For the next life, if we choose to come back or just go somewhere else, but it's for the soul to evolve. And the thing about it is, it's like, you can, if you understand and learn something fully on this earth, you may not see that in the life review, but it's to what you don't understand or don't understand fully. So Danny, you don't be shocked whenever you get your life review, if you see that you changed that man's life.
Along with being the host of the Astro Daddy Podcast, I have my own band called Santos and the Crystal Visions. We are inspired by music of the late 60s and 70s, a little Fleetwood Mac, a little Leonard Cohen, Joni Mitchell, singer-songwriter. And if you're interested in hearing my music, you can check us out on Instagram at Santos Crystal Visions. You can also find me on my YouTube channel here on Astro Daddy. Feel free to look me up. You can hear live performances or get some info about my next upcoming performances. With my music, my dream is to play and sell out stadiums all over the world and even play the Super Bowl one day. So if you're interested in helping me achieve my dream, you can support my mission by booking your own astrological birth chart reading. I've been reading astrology since I was 11 years old. I'm a master astrologer and an archetypal astrologer. So what I've done is I've created my own framework where I take the 12-step program and I've combined it with the 12 signs of the zodiac, known as 12 steps, 12 signs, an astrologer's guide to recovery. With your own astrological birth chart reading, you can unpack your soul's destiny, your purpose, learn your karma, and even learn a little bit more about yourself, while also understanding it through the medicine of the cosmos and the sacred laws of the universe. I'm also a trained ayahuasca shaman, and I lived with the indigenous Shipibo tribe in the summer of 2023, and I received their blessing to begin serving their plant medicine. So, reach out to me. You can learn more about Santos and the Crystal Visions. That's both the name of my band and my ayahuasca church. And as always, friends, I love you, I see you, and baby, I am you. And I believe in you too, because this is the Astro Daddy Podcast, and I'm your host, Danny Santos.
The only way I could see that happening is when he does his life review.
Mm.
And then I do
Oh,
mine. That's
yeah.
because this man felt pretty secure in his
A
way of
lot.
being,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it makes you wonder, maybe he is gay or
Someone
has
could
some.
change and like, oh, of course he probably is. He's probably in denial about himself, so he's like projecting that rejection.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
a lot of people are fluid. I call it fluid. Just because I know labels are kind of like the modern age terms, but I a lot of people are fluid. But when you're taught to say no to that area of yourself, and it comes up, you'll start to. It's kind of like a burden of rejection, right? Because you were taught to reject that. So the burden is less when you project it onto others.
Yeah.
It gets it away from you just for a little bit, but it's a short-term release. It's going to keep coming back. But Danny, you may never know. How I was 10 years ago is not who I am today. You might not know. He might change.
That's true. We
He might.
can kind of wait and see,
Yeah.
um, in our life reviews at least.
Yeah.
So the next thing I want to ask you, we talked before about you saying Jesus being like a yogi
Yeah.
and
This is
like just like a
peace
super
guy.
chill dude.
Yeah.
Like, can you just go into a little bit more about his demeanor, what he's like? Like,
Um, he's I don't know how to say it. Like, think of like the chillest guy. And but this is also the thing. Maybe he presented himself that way strategically to me because he knows how I felt about men. I
mm,
may have been attracted to them, but I didn't trust them, didn't like them. I hated them. I thought all men were. I'm not even joking. I literally thought that's something that every man does. That's how much I was abused.
yeah,
Um, so he presented his way as very, so I wouldn't be alarmed, right? So I wouldn't have any guard up, right? Because it's like I was still able to experience some humanness on purpose. Because on the other side, you don't really experience human things. But I noticed in a lot of people's NDEs, there's still there's still a tether, as if they are gone, but they're not fully gone,
right,
right?
right.
Because we came back. So so he was just. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to. I don't. I'm trying to think of There's got to be someone I can compare it to. I just can't think of them right now. There's got to be someone famous that I can compare it to.
Just like a super chill, relaxed. Let's put in the comments. Anybody, if you can think about like
Yeah,
who's a super
and
chill,
yeah,
down
and I'll
to
try to
earth.
respond and be like, yeah, that's more them. But the best I can say is like Yogi. Think I
like
feel like
like
what? Go
Gandhi
ahead.
or something or Buddha or
I would say
Leonard
closer
Cohen.
closer to Buddha than Gandhi. I don't know. That's just to me at
All right,
least.
we'll throw it out there for the
Yeah, I
masses
can't
to
explain it.
give us some
Yeah,
celebrities who you think might be chill bros like
yeah.
Jesus.
Because you ask a really great question. Like there's got to be. I know there's someone, but I just can't think of them right now. Okay.
That's okay. Well, we're gonna find it in the comments. Um,
Okay.
now, did you ask Jesus directly about your gayness, or what was the conversation about your sexuality with Jesus like?
Oh, but that's the thing. Like it wasn't like a standout. You just are, right? You just were. Like it, I think putting a label is a very earth thing. It's a very now earth thing to do. But you just were. I felt fully known. I felt fully seen, even deeper than I see myself right now.
Mm,
And the way I saw myself at 16 is not how I see myself now. The more healing I've done, like I see deeper and deeper into myself. And I've come a long way into seeing deeper into myself. And I still don't think in this incarnate, I don't think I'll ever see myself as deep. That's how deep. And you felt like you were seeing deeply. You can
wow.
literally feel it, folks. Like you can literally feel it. Like I just knew it. Like it's like things were not spoken verbally. They were just telepathic knowing. And I felt the words also. That's like I can't explain that. And so yeah, I was fully known, fully seen, fully accepted. And you can feel acceptance. Yes, it has a feeling. It has a strong, impactful feeling. It's like there is nothing else but like love. I tell people, Danny, because I was a hardcore atheist, right? I was a
Right.
skeptic. Still to this day, you just because someone tells me something doesn't mean I'm just gonna follow it. Now, if someone tells their NDE, I'm gonna be like, okay, I mean, if I didn't experience that, hey, there's the other side. I call it either the other side or I call it eternity. It is so vast. It's not one set limited thing. It's huge. But anyways, I tell people, I was like, I know it sounds too good to be true, but guess what? The truth is too good. Yeah, it's
Wow.
good.
And we have eternity to live and experience and try
Exactly.
things
You
and
can
fall in love.
incarnate anywhere you want to. And Danny, in a past life, you may have been I'm not saying you were, but you may have been a pastor. Who knows?
Oh,
You
I
know,
already know. I've looked into a lot of my past lives. I was like
ooh.
a priest in Greece before, but I was
Oh.
gay and hit that,
Oh,
you
period.
know? So much.
Oh, gotcha.
My destiny sign, my North Node is Sagittarius in this lifetime. So
Mm.
I'm trying to create a pattern of stop fragmenting my identity in my lifetimes and actually bring them together.
So great. Yeah.
You know?
Powerful. That's
This
what a
this is a
lot of
hard
past lives
lesson
are
for me.
powerful. Yes. So a lot of people that you see, they're like super duper, like you can tell from a mile away. They are here, they are gay. Okay.
Yeah.
And they are proud of it. I'm curious if some of them may have been an extreme hardcore homophobe, religious homophobe in their past life, and them coming into this life like this, being forced out of the closet, may have been, their soul choosing to come here because they wanted that understanding, they wanted that evolution.
Yeah.
We're all on this evolution path. We're at different stages. Some people are at different stages than others, and that's okay. Um, but if you're here on Earth, I give you an applause because to come here,
It's a hard
okay,
school.
yeah, it's freaking hard.
So you and
Yo,
I talked about this the last time that we chatted, how like
hmm
it's almost like a video game before you choose to incarnate, and you can scroll through like
yeah,
different places. That can you
yes,
just speak more on that?
yes. So that's why I say like when a lot of people have deja vu, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure like. At least for me, I'm like, yeah, that's because I've seen this before. You have when before you incarnate on Earth, right? You do come with a soul contract. No one incarnates on Earth without a soul contract, right? I don't know if that's that way with every planet that you can incarnate on, but Earth, it's like that way. Earth, it has to be that way because it's Earth. Come on now. I mean, look at it. You gotta, yeah. Um, you see your life. You see multiple of your lives, right? Multiple versions, right? And it's kind of like reading a book, right? Like you reading it and being aware of it is different than experiencing it.
Than living it. Whoa!
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just gave me. I understand
Ooh.
so much better now about because we can plan the life, but like you actually have to live it.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God,
so
it's
that's why it can kind of feel like we've bitten off more than we can chew sometimes. We can
yeah.
be aware, oh, I may not like this. But we got to understand like feeling human emotions on the other side is not really a thing.
Hmm.
You may get glimpses of things you if before you incarnate. You will see your life play out. Um and but it's literally like it's for example, it's like knowledge and experience can be two different things. That
Hmm.
makes sense. Like knowledge is one thing. So I know what I plan. I saw it, great, but experiencing it is different.
Especially in the continual Earth style,
Yeah.
like the 80-year straight.
Yeah. Even though Earth is really short, because other planets, we do get to live very, very long. Earth is really short, but apparently on Earth we used to live long.
Yeah, like 900 years supposedly.
So I'm like, makes sense, actually.
Well, because if eternity is eternity on the other side, then it
Yeah,
doesn't make a difference if you're choosing to spend it here or there.
right.
Now,
You can go anywhere.
you said that human emotions are not as like prominent on the other side.
Right,
Can you
right.
explain that more?
At all. Well, what I meant is more so is like when you're in the soul contract, like you're aware that there are other feelings, and you're aware that this may or may not be a likable feeling for when you incarnate.
Got it. But you're like, oh, but I'm on the other side and everything's perfect over here.
Right. It's kind of like you have that blinding privilege a little bit. But
Got it.
you're aware that, oh, okay, I may not consider this the best
Yeah.
in this incarnate, but to actually feel it is one thing. So you're aware of this new emotion of anger. What? Anger? That doesn't exist on the other side. Like something like that. Like, oh, sadness and tears. Oh, that's new to me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that, but it's like you're not feeling the human emotions the full extent to like what we're feeling now. We're not feeling that in the soul contract when we're planning it out and agreeing or disagreeing to it.
Yeah.
It's free will. We get to change. We do get to change the soul contract. It's not like it's just handed to, at least from what I experienced, it's not like it's just handed to us. Like you can say no, you don't ever have to incarnate on Earth ever again, and no one would blame you. You can literally go to other places and it'd be great.
And we make these contracts with other people. Like,
Oh yes, there's also, it's so strategic and complex. But yeah.
and
Mhm.
there probably takes like a planning stage that
Of
happens,
course, yeah.
you
Yeah, that's
know?
where I said no at in the thingy. That's
Well, you told me that there are entities going around being like, who's ready to go to Earth? Like, you want to go to Earth? Like,
yes,
there's
as
someone
well.
pushing this dimension.
For not all the time though.
Okay.
Not all the time, but for a lot of people, yes. If Earth is in a time of ascension, and so entities were asked to from other dimensions, other places to come and help. A lot said no is the thing, but some said yes. And so, but you can just choose to come help without entities coming and asking you. It's so much free will, right? Now there may be, but like you said, yes, like for a lot of folks, you could say no, but the entity is like, but are you sure? Like, this place really needs you, and
We need
this is
somebody
more
who's as gay as you are to be
right,
spiritual and spread messages of love on your podcast.
right. So yeah, and so that's there would be like, okay, you have free will. Just take a look with us. This is what it'll look like if you do. See who you would change, see who you would help, see you would help this soul evolve like you evolved. They would like, I don't want to say it manipulate in a negative way. Um, but they would just make sure to present, the full picture before you make a decision. Uh, yeah. Because a lot of us, we know full pictures of other places, but we didn't all know the full picture of Earth um, immediately, because this may not be our normal. We may not all be from the same dimension. We may not all be from the same planet.
Mm. Now,
That's normal for us.
when we really zoom out, this
Hmm.
there's I'm really getting acquainted with this idea that we are all one.
Yes, we are.
So at the very top of the way that there's the tree,
Hmm.
and then there's the branches with the leaves,
Hmm.
and of course there's the roots. So from my understanding, and I'll have you speak on this,
Hmm.
although we are all one, it's like a paradox. The leaf is still part of the tree, but the leaf is not the tree, but it is
Right.
part of the tree.
Yeah.
And the tree is not the leaf.
Hmm.
So we get to maintain our individual identity
Yeah. Hmm.
while still being part of the entire source that is.
Yes.
And it's like a mother gives birth to a child, that child will never crawl back into the mother's womb
Hmm.
to become the mother again. Right?
Kind of. We can go back into source if we want to.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we can just go in like just staying there.
Can we come back out afterwards, or
Of
are you?
course, it's complete free will.
So we have
It
total
it
freedom on the other side.
is so much free will. It's insane, and it's
So
really valued. And so when people, kind of shame free will here on Earth, I'm like, oh well, just wait till you get on the other side. If you hate free will, I'm just kidding. They'll be fine once they're back into their higher form of wisdom.
right.
But
Well, and
yeah, it's
coming
free
to
will.
Earth is one of the ways that people can work out some of their darkness in a way that's
Yeah.
like more
Mhm.
permissible.
Sure. Yes, but that's the thing. I wouldn't say darkness. There can be darkness, but our definition of darkness on Earth may not be the same as it is on the other side.
Okay.
So, what we may consider dark on the other side may be considered a learning lesson
Okay.
that we wanted to learn for soul evolution. See, when you're on the other side, you're in a more elevated, wise state. So that's why, like certain circumstances, you know, on Earth, I'm like, why would I sign up for that? That's stupid if I signed up for it. But on the other side, you're not thinking about it like that. You're thinking that'll help me learn how I made this person feel, and that'll help me evolve spiritually. That'll help me. Wow, like I've always knew what home felt like, feeling orphaned. That'll help me appreciate home so much more when I feel it again.
Wow.
Like that. Like that's how we're looking at it. So you can work out. So I wouldn't use the word darkness. You can use that word. I just do, as long as you use the word, just make that clear distinction that our definition may be different
Or
than the
limited.
other sides. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So you can say darkness. So we'll say darkness and evolution. How about
Okay.
that?
Or duality. You
Or
know,
duality.
this
Sure.
is the
Yeah, there you
realm
go.
of duality.
Yes. 3D
So,
is definitely a realm of duality.
but I'm sure Earth
Mhm.
is not the only duality school there is in the universe.
No, it's just the hardest.
Can you speak more about what makes Earth the hardest school?
Well, no other place are beings not liking each other because of color or because of sexual orientation. The fact that that's even a word is very mind-boggling to a lot of new spirits here who've incarnated here, because anyone can be anyone and love anyone, and that's okay, because love, Earth puts boundaries and limits on love, and that's very mind-boggling to other spirits who are new here. That's mind-boggling to me, as this is my second time here. Earth
Or
puts
to
limits.
Source? I'm sure Source is like, this
Yes,
is crazy.
yeah. Putting limits on love is that's not new. That doesn't exist other places necessarily.
Yeah. Well,
Wars may exist, but it's very few planets that are like or similar to Earth. They're in their stages as well, but most planets are very loving and harmonious. I'm sorry, what was your question? I got
I
off
was
topic.
just, I don't even remember, but I'm thinking
What
about
makes Earth hard?
what makes Earth hard.
Well, Earth is a place where joy and mourning exist at such an extreme level together. Love and hate exist at such an extreme level together, right? Like such an extreme level. Whereas most other planets, it's just love and harmonious. It really is. It's literally so easy. It's literally so easy and so loving and so much fun on other places. Earth is where, well, at least Earth now, because Earth wasn't always the same, right? But
Right.
at least Earth now, you can have a child die. That doesn't exist other places. Other places you can choose when to leave. Earth, it to us, it may feel unexpected. Like it's not normal that you have brunch with someone and not know when they're gonna die tomorrow in a car accident. That's
Mm,
not normal. That's not normal. Mental illness, that's not normal. That's not normal. Um, on Earth it's the norm, but when you're talking about all planets, at least in this universe, that's not normal, folks. So I'm
right.
hoping to give y'all hope. If you feel like this is the dead end, it's not. I promise. It's
Okay.
not. I
And in
promise.
fact, we should try to find a way through the thickness of the darkness, of the
Yes.
intensity of the Earth is hard. I'm just not gonna
Right.
sugarcoat it. This is a hard place to be, and our
Yeah.
mood
And the
can really,
systems makes it
yes.
hard.
And
Yeah.
what's in the radio waves and what the
Yeah.
programming,
Yeah. The
this.
programming, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is Earth is very, very, very unique, which is also makes it attractive to a lot of souls that want to grow because this place offers you fast growth through like there's hardship, but we got to understand it's not, in this universe hardship is rare. That's not common. That's not the common. That's not the norm. So if
Mm.
a soul wants to grow, it can grow on those harmonious places. It will just take way longer. Whereas Earth, you can do so much growth and spiritual evolution in like a short lifetime. Like, because 80 years is short, okay? Like, that's quick. And the other thing is something else that I learned is like that what that blue entity taught me was
Mm-hmm.
about like how if I feel pain in this life and I feel like it went in vain, and I'm like, well, how did this help me? Maybe it helped your higher self. Maybe it helped your spirit. Maybe that circumstance was meant for your spirit more
Mm.
than your human, more than your human self. So that was pretty cool. That I mean that doesn't that use that I mean that doesn't at least now in my life that doesn't really edify me that much because I'm just like well
Yeah.
you know you know I want to be certain that it helped the spirit because it sure as hell didn't help the human.
Right.
So yeah.
So I'm just my brain is hopping back to another interview I did with a woman named Leslie Carradina,
Okay.
and she was
Yeah.
sharing in her NDE that
Yeah.
when she met Spirit, Source, God, that it
Mm.
said to her, when you do something to someone else, you feel everything that you made them feel, and you feel the events that followed that afterwards, and how that
Mm.
affected everything.
Are you talking about in that life review?
Yeah, just in life
Mm.
reviews in general, like this is what people
Mm-hmm.
have to do. And
Yeah.
when you do something good for another person, it creates good. And
Yes,
like
it does.
by doing something good for someone else, it's also a service to yourself
For
and to
yourself.
God.
Yes, we're all one. That is very, very true. We are literally all one. And on this earth, the definition of one that we were taught is not really the full definition. You know, you can be one and still be individual personality as well. But yes, that is true. Now, on earth, we may not feel it so immediately that we just did good to ourselves as well. But I promise you, folks, even the smallest action has the biggest impact energetically,
Right.
right? This earth is at a lower vibration than it used to be long, 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 long time ago. Earth is extending now, right? And so um keep doing the small acts of goodness, not just to others, but also to yourself, folks. You don't have to be perfect at it. I'm not saying be perfect at it. I'm not saying you can't be in the human experience and cuss someone out. I'm just saying like, just know that when you do good, um, it does make a difference. It can be small, it can be big. It does not matter. Do good, but it's always preached do good to others. But I'm telling you, do good to yourself as well.
Okay.
That's huge too.
So
We're all one.
I'm thinking somebody could be listening to this and having the question of like, okay, well then if like we all get off the hook and whatever, then why not just live a life of total like virtuelessness and be wild or crazy or do bad things?
Yeah.
Like why not just do all of that? What would you say to that?
Well, people do it. They do it. And that's the thing. What was something that was hard pill to swallow is, some people signed up to be narcissists. If that helps their spiritual soul evolution in the long run, they did it. They
Mm,
do it. So there are people, entities, and there. But once you get out of your body, you're not a bad entity.
right.
You're gonna get that life review though. So
Yeah.
you're gonna
Like
get the life
you
review,
have to
but
drink you have to sleep in the bed that you made or like.
in a way, in a way, but not in a judgmental way though. Like you know, and this is the thing is their bad might have helped us in our soul evolution. We may have signed a contract with them. So folks do it all the time. You can be a saint in one life, but be a menace in another life. Folks do it
Mm.
today. So that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of folks that you're seeing they just want to do evil. They just want to do that. That's your question. They do. You can do
Okay.
that. You can do both in one lifetime.
Does the soul ever get to the point where it's like, I've had enough. I don't want to
Yes.
learn or grow anymore. I just want to
Yes.
return back to source and just stay
Oh,
there.
all the time. Yeah.
For
And
someone
not
like
mhm,
me, that sounds like the worst possible choice ever. I would never
mhm,
want to relinquish my ability to keep experiencing things.
mhm. Well, you wouldn't relinquish it. It would still be a choice. So let's say if you decide to stay in source, let me use human time here
Sure,
for
sure.
5,000 years. And but at year one, you were like, yeah, I'm never leaving source again, because when you're in source, you feel alive. It's beautiful. It's great. It's amazing. So you're not just sitting there bored and bland. Like,
Twiddling your thumbs.
right. Like it is just, you are just melting in love. And when I tell you, once someone has experienced the love on the other side, you don't want to leave. I wish I got a choice. I didn't get a
Okay.
choice, but
They made you come
you
back.
just want to melt. Yeah, they made me come back. Yeah. You just melt. So yes, you can choose to just go back to source, because Earth is not the only planet. So there's life on, there's trillions of other life, and this is just only one universe, right? So entities are always going back to source and just saying, I'm staying. I'm staying. And then entities are always changing their mind. They're changing their choice, actually, and saying, you know what, I've been here for at least 3 trillion years inside a source. I'm a go incarnate somewhere.
I'm gonna go be a prostitute in the Sahara Desert during the royal
Not the
times.
Sahara Desert. There you go. Hey.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Well,
So
interesting. Okay, I have more
there's
questions.
you do.
Yeah, please go ahead and say what you're about to say.
Well, if someone's listening now, and I mean, if someone is super religious listening now, if you stayed this long, I understand you may not believe what I'm saying, because this may not be what you're taught, and I understand. That's so okay. That's understandable. I wouldn't even believe this if I didn't go through it. Okay, like, so I get it, right? Especially if you were taught something for from a young age, right? And you hold it dear to you, right? I want to say this. Jesus was considered very woke for his time. And so the Pharisees, they were very religious. They did the rules. That was they were taught was truth. They didn't recognize Jesus as Christ until after. Even though Jesus was right in front of their face, but because he was so woke, so individuals crucified him, which was a normal form of punishment back then. It's nothing, oh my god, it's so unique. No, 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 that was a normal form of punishment was very barbaric in early human history, folks.
Yeah.
Very barbaric. We even still do some barbarianism punishments, with the death penalty and the types of, but anyways, let me be quiet. I'm not going to go, that's a different story. But the point of the matter is we still crucify people today. It just looks different. See, and by that, what I mean, in the Bible, some of the truth that is in there, just some, not all, okay. But some of the truth, just stick with me, folks. Some of the truth that is in there is that Christ will come back. It did not mean that literal. It was symbolic, folks. How they spoke back then was in symbolism, in parables, right? It's Christ's consciousness. So when you see that trans person that you disagree with, people fighting for love, because love is literally love. There's no labels on love. Love is literally just love. When you see someone fighting for love and you're rejecting them, you're rejecting Jesus. Remember, you won't the Pharisees did not recognize Jesus until after. So folks, Christ consciousness is here. And we see the Pharisees are still here, but they thought that they were right. They were taught that they were right, right?
The
So
Pharisees did believe they were right.
the Pharisees believe they were right. How many of us today believe that we are right? How many of us in the church believe that we are right while we reject our neighbor who is fighting for love,
Whoa.
who is being the woke one? So, folks, just like how Jesus was crucified and persecuted because he was woke, he was different than the religious Pharisees, we do the same today. We do the same today. We may use a gun, we may use a knife, we may use our words, we may use our physical hands, but they're still crucifying going. The crucifix of Jesus is still happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at yourself in the mirror. Do you want to continue to be that Pharisee? Or do you want to accept Jesus?
And act with love.
Yes.
When that guy was with the megaphone outside of Pride, I kept saying to
Exactly.
him, Jesus would be washing my feet and I could wash yours.
Yes.
Like, and he just
Yes.
did not want to, he just wanted to look at what was wrong.
Yes. What he thought was wrong.
What his perception
What
was.
he was taught was wrong.
Yeah.
Just like the Pharisees, because Jesus was in their face. Jesus was in their face. And they were telling Jesus, you're wrong. You're this, just like they're telling Christ conscious here today. So that trans person, first of all, shout out to trans people, because
Happy Pride
you
Month.
are doing so much for the Earth's energetic evolution. You have no idea. That LGBTQ neighbor of yours, folks, I'm telling you, and I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying that just like the Pharisees, they thought that they were doing the right thing, but they were rejecting Jesus. Folks today think that the religious people think that they are doing the right thing, but they are rejecting Jesus still.
Mm-hmm.
And this time, though, they have, the Bible has been, folks, do research on the history of the Bible. If you don't believe me, honestly, don't believe me. Believe the history, do the research. But yes, so when I'd say, folks, love your neighbor, you're loving God. So that's what I'm saying. When it's like, when in the scripture, when it says you can't love God until you love your neighbor, or vice versa, we're literally all one. We all come from source. So it wasn't saying make sure you love your neighbor. No, it was saying we're all one. So we're still all God as well. So it's like, if you hate yourself, by yourself, I mean your neighbor, because we're all one, you're also hating God, because we're still all one. So it wasn't saying as, do it because it's the kindness of your heart. No, it was saying it as like, okay, guess what? This is literally how it is. Yeah. That's just a matter of fact. So,
Wow.
Yeah, folks but that's what was so, shocking, is that in that society, that uproar, that type of hate, that type of resistance, Jesus got, we're seeing today towards the Christ conscious as well.
Amen.
Yeah. So Danny, that's what I'm saying. You're part of Christ conscious. And that man, he was the Pharisee. And that's what I'm saying. He's going to realize it, whether it's in this incarnate or in that life review, he's going to realize after that hate that he spewed towards you, he's going to realize after, oh my gosh, I was rejecting Christ conscious. I was rejecting Christ.
Whoa.
I didn't know, though. I wasn't taught that. So
whoa.
That's why it's important. Just, if you try your best, folks, to love, and I mean actually try, don't just try and don't actually do it. Don't just, but I mean literally try your best, because when you love your neighbor, you're loving yourself. When you love yourself, you're loving love others. You're also loving God, the source. And this is coming from someone who was a atheist, who thought that they were going to hell, who didn't believe in heaven but believed in hell, because I'm clearly going there. And guess what? I met Jesus. And you don't have to believe me today, folks. You may believe me tomorrow. You may believe me next month. Or you may believe me when you go back to the other side. But we all know this truth. It's just in this incarnate, we were just taught something different. But we all have met Jesus. This is not something new. So
it's not our first rodeo.
It's not our first rodeo.
Okay. And there's also, you said, a number of other ascended masters. Yes. And when we think about like our soul's trajectory, our journey, we can also become ascended masters.
Yes.
Correct?
Many people are. But they see, this is the thing, is like Jesus, Buddha, they happen to be popular extended masters because humanity over time made them popular for whatever reason. But there have been plenty of extended masters. You could be an extended master and not even know it.
Whoa, that'd be amazing.
That's the thing. Like it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, I definitely have my character flaws.
Well, you're
And
in the human incarnate, so of course.
well, can you speak on a little bit about the fact that I have some pretty strong character flaws and they do
Mm-hmm.
show
You
up,
do.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that I'm working with and working on. Um, what's a word of wisdom about character flaws and spiritual growth? And is it did my soul sign up for it, or are those flaws things that just kind of follow me around lifetime to lifetime until I fix it?
I would say this. Well, first off, before I offer some wisdom, is your a lot of the a lot of things. I want to say all, but then humans also have free will, so sometimes we can cause each other certain things. But a lot of things are. I will say this: things are strategic, right? Things are strategic. You don't come to Earth without agreeing to everything first.
Whoa. So this is
Yeah.
like a pretty lengthy meeting with your spirit guides and spiritual team, prepping for this lifetime on Earth.
It was more so the blue entity throwing all of this wisdom at me.
But before we incarnate, do we meet with like
Oh
a
yes, yes, yes. Oh yeah, yeah. You're not on your own. You're not on your own. Not coming to Earth. You're not on your own. You probably are maybe with your parents, or probably like what, a century before you and your parents even incarnate to Earth. You're probably, because we do pick parents. And folks, I had awful, awful parents as a human, awful parents in this incarnate. Yes, I chose them. That was a hard pill for me to swallow, because that's something that that blue entity told me straight up right then and there, is that I chose them. Yeah, I don't talk to them anymore, but I looking back, I see why they had to be chosen. I see what direction it harmed me into the right direction. It harmed me into the healing direction, because
Whoa.
if I wouldn't have done if I didn't go through that, my podcast would not exist, and that person wouldn't have recognized me at a coffee shop and came up and told me that that podcast saved their life because they were going to kill themselves. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, maybe the picture is not just about me. Maybe it's about my neighbors as well. And so maybe I signed up for certain things, not just with me in mind, but with others in mind. Because on the other side, there's room for everybody to win. There's room for everybody to be loved and everybody to grow and evolve, everybody to heal. Yeah, we're
Oh.
so one. So because we're so one, there's this amount of selflessness on the other side, where we would literally, like, give our right arm to our neighbor if they needed it. And
Wow.
we wouldn't think twice about it, because it's like we're doing it to ourselves. We want to do that. We want to help each other. We recognize we're all one, and we have individual personalities as well. It's just, that's what love will do to you. Love will create that for you. But the wisdom in terms of folks with character flaws, I want to tell you this: it's on purpose, for a purpose.
Strategically.
Strategically, you are not a burden, folks. Danny, you're not a burden. You're not a
Thank you.
mistake. You're not a mistake.
Mm.
All of this is so important, because if something was just a little less off or a little too much, your purpose might not have happened.
Interesting.
We think this might not compare, or this might not have, this situation might not have nothing to do with this. No, it energetically nudged you. If you didn't see it physically, it must have been an energetic nudge. Your energy had to get to a certain place for you to be in certain alignment. And so now you're healing others with meditation. But if you didn't have that one character flaw, let's say you have 5 character flaws, but if you only had 4, your energy, it might have taken too long to get to that alignment. And then others might not have been healed that you were supposed to help, you know?
Whoa.
So it's for a purpose, on purpose. So there are no mistakes. Now, as a human, I know this, and I was on the other side, so I know this. But as a human, I still will feel too burdened sometimes. I will still feel like it's too a mistake, even with this knowledge. And I think that that's part of the human experience, though. I think that's part of the current human experience is to have this wrestle, have this struggle with, because folks, energies are being touched regardless. So you're
Okay.
folks, you're not a mistake. You're here on purpose for a purpose. And give yourself a little bit longer. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it. Okay. So, and trust me, this is coming from someone who could not see it, did not see it, and tried to leave 3 times. So
Wow,
yeah.
Josias. Okay, is it okay if I ask a couple more questions?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, we still have a little bit of time here. So, my next question is, can you speak on the nature of sexual energy and
Oh
like,
yeah.
how, why, what's it for, the creativity?
I don't know much about it, but I do know that's part of source energy. We were just taught recently that like recent human um history on this earth that sex is something that's a bad thing. We were taught that. I know a lot of western religion had something to do with that, but that used to not be the norm. It was always this understanding though that like, oh, sex is just a normal thing, but it's part of god energy, right? This one lady in her NDE, she described it as there was this one part in her NDE when she was on the other side where it was just she just felt like she was in an orgasm,
I
right?
think I
And
saw that
she,
video.
yes, I
Like a
think, yeah,
perpetual orgasm, like that lasted
yeah,
a long time.
yes. And she tried to like shame herself, but the her spirit guide was like, no, that's normal. That's normal. Do not shame yourself. Just let it be. And so she let it be, right? And so yeah, it's part of God energy. It's normal, it's natural, and it's okay. And there's no the fact that there's stigma on it is not something that always used to be like it used to be as normal to speak about as me saying, oh my god, Danny, I love your shirt, that's such a cool shirt. See, like there's no stigma towards that, like how you see how that just flew out of my mouth,
Yes.
so natural, so normal. That's how sex used to be viewed, but that changed over time. Not saying the truth about it changed over time, but the perception and outlook on it changed over time. So a lot of spiritual people have a lot of sexual energy, right? Um, and that's very normal and
Yeah.
natural. I don't know what else to say about it.
A lot of musicians, a lot of artists, a lot of
Yeah.
people
Not
there.
saying like there can't be like diseases that come from it. I'm not saying
Oh, of
that. Like,
course.
of
Of
course, we're on
course.
this, this
Well, and those
3D.
are there to be teachers strategically, right?
Hmm,
To teach
hmm.
us things.
Right, right.
So I am curious if there's a straight man or a married man who's having an affair with men on the side or something, who's listening to this podcast and is really resisting coming forward to be themselves. What do you think Jesus would want to say to them?
I think Jesus would say, I understand, be yourself. I know it's hard. I think he would say once, I think he would say, what we run from follows us, what we face frees us. And freedom is definitely something Jesus is a fan of.
Hmm.
Um, but I truly feel like Jesus would so empathize and sympathize on such a deep level because, I mean, Jesus knows the society, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone. That's why a lot of people don't come to Earth because they were like, "Oh, look at, yep, nope." Like, look at that society. That's a no for me. But Jesus would definitely be for them living their truth. Um, we are all worthy of living our truth. We came here to be ourselves, not to be the box that society tells us to be. See, the box is limiting, the human is freeing. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And
So, I mean, sorry if someone is going through that. That is not such a great feeling. And in your life review, you might see what your life could have looked like if you lived in your truth and your freedom. Um,
Authenticity.
yeah. So you're gonna see that, and then I promise you, you're probably gonna reincarnate, and you're gonna be forced out of that closet.
Well, do people
You're
want
gonna
to come back and be like, wow, I wish I had,
Yes, yeah, 1000%.
you
That's the
know?
thing. When people say reincarnate, they say it with such a surety, and I'm like, okay, kinda. The thing is, like, it's still free will, but we're in such a wise mindset. We're in such a wise thought process that we're just more likely to come back and be like, I'm coming back because I got to get that done. But it's not like no one's forcing us. Like we're just, oh, you have to come back. That's not what I experienced. What I experienced is it's this kind of like free will of just like you may be more likely to come back, but that's because of your own knowledge, your own choice. You did not like your life review. You did not like what you didn't do in your soul contract. You didn't like that you didn't fulfill 90 to 100% of things. You may have fulfilled 10% of the things. You may not have liked that fear had such a control over your life. You're not gonna like you don't even like that now. So you're not gonna like that, especially when you're in this wiser state, you know. Because when you first came here, when you chose to be attracted to who you're attracted to, um, you knew that it would be hard.
Hmm.
You may have saw yourself getting through it, or maybe you saw yourself just continuing to maybe you signed up to just continuously live and incarnate like this. I don't know what your soul contract is, but we don't, on the other side, we don't like limitations and restrictions. That's not the norm. So when you get on the other side, you're definitely gonna wanna freedom is definitely gonna be the banner, and
Mm.
limitations and restrictions and lack of free will, that is not something that we like on the other side. So this earth, there's definitely limitations on free will. We put them in the boxes. We socialize. Folks assign male at birth. Folks assign female at birth. We only say there's male and female. We don't say, guess what? There are many people who are literally biologically born both. We
Mm.
don't teach that in school. We teach these and those folks that are intersex, that's what that's called. They're forced to be in some type of biological citizenship, right? They're forced to either be male or female. And then what comes with being male or female? Okay, so men, you have to act like this and only this. You can't buy this. You can't do gardening. Gardening is very fun, but you can't do that because that's what women do. Like, that is so limiting. And no wonder people fight back about it, because we're unconsciously conscious a lot of the times. That's not the norm. We feel
Right.
that deep down, but we don't know where that's coming from. We just think that there's just passion. But really, it's just because we know other places, we know the other side, we know what home is like, we know home is tons of free will, and we know we deserve free will. We are worthy of free will. It's a great gift.
Okay, I have one last question.
Yeah.
Over the last year, I've had a lot of experiences where I felt like, um, first of all, the symbolism of the Virgin Mary has been really in my face.
Oh, bless her. Yes.
I mean, bless her, and also she's like trying to force me to stop being gay. There's
Really? Are
this
you
like,
sure that's her?
well, that's the thing is I don't know. But it's like a lot of the Virgin Mary coming in my face, being in my dreams, you know, showing me being with a woman, and I don't like those things.
Right.
I don't want that life. I'm not interested in that. I'm not attracted to that,
Right.
So it's, and I also had a
Oh.
psychedelic experience where I saw a demon come down from the sky and tell me it's time to stop being gay. This is rooted in
Well, that's who it is.
it's the demon playing a joke on me.
Yes, of course, because you signed a soul contract to be attracted to who you're attracted to. You know, nothing on the other side that is, because there are some not so great entities on Earth. Demons do exist. They do exist, folks. That's not just in movies, and that's not just in religion. They do.
I
There
will
are.
say I've seen the Virgin Mary with like dark, evil eyes and stuff. Like
Okay, well
I
that's
think it's
your
like this archetype of perfection and needing
mm,
to be perfect and not loving myself because I have to be
right.
perfect. Like that shadow's been coming up a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it could. I don't, that's a great question. I don't know what to say. Like, it could be trying to, maybe when society growing up or your parents or society or whatever it told you, oh, you should be straight.
I mean,
Um,
my parents are both
maybe,
Virgos, the
okay.
Virgin, so there's like a whole thing there. And then I grew up
Right.
Catholic, and they used to hand out
Right.
pamphlets that said, if you're gay, you're going to burn in
Right.
hell.
Could it
And if you believe in
possibly
tarot and
be,
astrology,
right? Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah. I mean, could it be possibly that, even though you accept yourself, there's still small amounts of rejection that it's just time to, just be completely free? Or I don't know, maybe her coming to you is symbolic and what is still there deep down.
yeah, I think you're
Or
right.
maybe, or yeah, it could be that, or maybe it could just be a demon trying to tell you, like, oh, let me convince you to not live your truth so that you don't heal other people.
Well, I want to live my truth. I love
Exactly.
being
So live your
gay.
truth. Live your truth.
And
But
like,
go deeper and see what that's like. I think that's something that you have to cope. But definitely continue to be who you are. That you're here to be you. You're not here to be what society. There's a reason society is telling folks who to be,
yeah,
because if we be who we truly are, oh, we are powerful.
yeah. Well, do you know George Michael?
Yes.
So he's obviously a gay musician.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote a song called Jesus Like a Child, or Jesus to a Child, where he talks about
Mm.
like a love that he had, a deep love of his life, smiled at
Mm.
him the way that Jesus might smile at a child, and
Oh,
how that brought
oh,
him deep
wow. That's
comfort,
beautiful. That's
you
beautiful.
know? So I
That's
look
beautiful.
up to George Michael because he's my example of a gay man who had a deep faith and a deep relationship to God, who also was gay as all hell, you
Yeah, he
know?
was. George Michael was gay. Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah. So, so I'm just looking at like one cannot be without the other for me. I am gay and a spiritual man, and I don't want to
yes.
separate these two parts. I want to find a Sagittarius
Yeah.
blend.
And if you were alive, like early human, when things were like a lot different, this would not be an issue for you.
Mm,
You would be able to easily do that and you would be praised for it. I mean, no one would bat an eye at it. But we're in the modern age society now. So now it's like we were taught this separation within ourselves, and now we're having to bring it back together. So we're having to go through that process, which you will continue to do. But you have to be you so that your energy continue to do what it do and be in the alignment that it needs to be and increase in the way that it needs to increase, because it's not just about you. You are so extremely important, and so is your neighbor, extremely important, just as equally extremely important. So, you know, be you for not just you, but be you for others, for the sake of others. You energetically impact people, and we just don't physically see energies all the time.
yeah.
So,
Well, I personally believe that part of your reason for coming back was to obviously spread this message. But just from the few interactions that you and I have already have, you've made a tremendous impact on my life,
oh,
Josias. I've been struggling with this religious shame and trauma over the last year. It's all resurfaced as Saturn
I think
entered.
that's why Mary is.
Yeah, well,
Oh, okay.
Saturn entered Aries. My Venus
That's
is in
true.
Aries.
That's
It's like
true.
restricting this part of myself. So
That's true.
I just want to say thank you for being a role model of a religious, or not, excuse me, a role model of a spiritual
Mhm.
gay man who is able to hold your gay identity while also holding a strong relationship to God, Jesus, Source. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
I love
thank you,
you.
Danny. Thank you, Danny. I receive all of that. And folks, um, fun fact, you don't have to have an NDE to be super spiritual. You can get a past life hypnosis. That'll do something.
Yeah. Are there any parting words of wisdom or anything that you want to leave everyone with before we
Folks,
hop
you
off?
are loved. That's it. Like, You are so loved, more than you will ever know in this incarnate. So loved. Love
And
yourself and love
Jesus loves the
others.
gays.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
Okay.
Jesus loves the person you hate.
Oh, wow.
That is
That's
true.
amazing.
Yeah, I needed to hear that too myself.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause there's someone in leadership that I don't like too much right now. We'll
Very,
just,
well, that's an episode for another day. But
yeah.
Josias, thank you for joining us on the Astro Daddy podcast. And as always, friends, as I always say, I love you, I see you, and baby, I am you, and I believe in you
Aw.
too, because this is the Astro Daddy podcast. Out.
Thank you for watching the Astro Daddy Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. To be a guest on the show, reach out to me at info@astro-daddy.com.